Mr. Chairman.
Notice of public hearing on September 14th, 2022 in Shelton City Hall Auditorium at 54 Hill Street in Shelton, Connecticut. At 4:00 p.m., the WPCA board will hold a public hearing regarding the proper sequencing of applications to connect and file with the city of Shelton's WPCA. This meeting will also be available on Zoom with the specific link and to be on Shelton City Hall's website. So the specifics of it are that we are going to discuss and formally notify any individual and or corporation that for the request of an application to connect. I want to make sure that everybody's clear. It's form WP 0401, September 2022. That's when it was revised, also known as the WPCA application sequencing. Any and all individual and applicants can now be heard. For the record, there's nobody available. They don't, Jim. Jim, you're right in the middle of my meeting, Jim.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm only kidding, Jim. For the record, again, there's nobody in the audience to speak. I will notify anybody for the record if anybody walks in. This is where you just sit and do nothing.
Yeah. Who's on Zoom?
Matt, probably. Matt, are you on? John. Who?
Not sure if Matt's joining. He might in a minute.
Oh, hey, John. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Are you gonna? You're not obviously gonna be here for the 4:30 meeting, right, John?
No, I just wanted to sit in to see if there was any participation with the public thing. So just to see if anyone had any thoughts or.
Slim to none that anybody ever shows up at these public hearings, which is actually kind of nice sometimes.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mr. Chairman, do you want to, because I'm not sure if your board is familiar with why we're having this hearing, the state that the all applicants must go to zoning first before they come see you guys.
I would hope you guys know why we're here. You know why we're here?
It's all public hearing, so if the public wanted to object or had any comments
What are we having the hearing about?
to updating the,
Okay, so
The
here's,
application form?
I'll save it for you. So here's what we do. This is the application to connect.
okay,
Over the years, this has evolved. This first application started probably 10 or 12 years ago. Me and Regis put it together. And of course, it evolves as you learn more and more. What's happening is, well, some of these people are going to P&Z, coming to WPCA first, and they're getting our approval. But in the box, they're not checking off, and part of this is our mistake, is somehow when we revised this thing a year ago, about a year ago, the box got left off, and the box always said, have you received approval from the P&Z first before you come here? And I'll say it lightly, waste our time and your time. It's your time. I don't care. I enjoy being here.
and then not get approved by P&Z.
And then not get approved by P&Z and then have to come back and see us a second and or a third time. So this is to make sure that everybody understands that the process is the project requesting a P&Z zone change, yes or no? If it says yes, then we ask that, okay, did it get approved? And if they say no, then we're gonna say, see you later, get it approved first. It saves more, look, like I said, I don't care. They can come back here as many times as they want. But why waste your time coming here? But what's happening is, because they're circumventing the us first, they're going to P and Z and they're getting approval on a certain project. Then they come here and they get approval from us. Then they turn back around and they go back to P and Z. Oh, by the way, I think I'm going to change the how many units I'm going to have here. Maybe they had 100, now they want 125. Well, this document here states that, well, you said 120, you said 100 to us. Now you're saying it's 125. Well, we're not getting the proper, number one, we're not getting the proper fees. Number two is we're not getting the proper flow rates down that we are expecting down at the plant, because we keep track of them. We keep track of all the applications, the daily flow, and how much we have in each zone. Do you know how many zones there are that we have? We have 12 zones. We have 12 zones. In each zone, and I'll give you a little bit of history about that later on. Each zone has X amount of thousands of gallons. One zone might have, here it is right here. And again, this was developed, and I'm not looking to take credit, but this was developed by myself with some, maybe one or two other people, to keep track of this, because if we don't know where everything's going, and you get down to the bottom, in our total for the state is 4 million gallons per day. So we're averaging around 2.77 million a day. Our peaks are much higher than that. So this is to get people to come to the P&Z first and get sign off. And it's changed over here, that it's telling you the application process. And we've modified this process over the years as we learn more. So the applicant shall provide the approved Shelton Planning and Zoning Commission land development plans to the WPCA as part of their application. After the applicant has written zoning approval, then you can come to us and you can ask us. So this is to tell them P and Z's that P and Z is first. Don't come to us until you have P and Z approval. That's basically how it's working.
Okay.
And it got so out of control that some of these developers, and again, part of it is our fault, my fault, is some of these got away from us. And these PDDs are out of control. And I've been saying,
What's 5A and 9A? What differentiates
those are zones.
Gotcha.
Those are sewer shed areas.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't remember. I don't know exactly where they all are.
Gotcha.
The map.
Oh, they're all correlated to this?
Oh, there's a
Gotcha,
map
okay.
there. So any zone you can take a look at. So over the years, the problem is these sewer shed allocations keep on changing. Now, agreed about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, maybe, I don't even know, I've lost track. There was a request to keep downtown. What's downtown? What zone is downtown?
Zone 8, Zone 2, Zone 1 are all part of downtown.
1, 2, and 8. So it's been requested that these zones stay the same and don't change for the development downtown. They don't know.
This is just the sewer.
Ashley, it's 4:10.
Zone 1, 2.
Is there anybody from the public who would like to have a discussion during the public hearing for the proper sequencing of the application to connect? Ashley, can you note there's nobody in the public? That's the second request.
Down the street.
Zones are pulled out in the box.
Well, that's a good one. I forgot. That's how long ago this was done, 2010. That was done 11 years ago, based on the flow monitoring we did back then. And that's when I think actually we developed this, once we had the flow monitoring,
Long Hill Avenue.
we had done this,
covering a big section.
probably with Fuss and O'Neill with Matt.
Zone 6.
So that's good, that's on there, because it's a reminder of how old this thing actually is.
Yeah, right over
I like this chart, but it doesn't mean much.
No, it's just. Probably hit that thing.
See, exactly.
We don't know
So
if
I don't even, I don't,
we don't know about it.
right, I mean, this tells a little, so that's the problem with this, it's a good chart,
White Hills.
and it's helpful, but it doesn't make a difference, because all anybody knows is that's what the capacity is, and that's the daily average flow. That's a little bit of the problem with the chart. but You have to design.
Remember, this is a database application, inventory management, and I bastardized it to make it look like a map, so it's pretty good. But that's why you see this stuff. You can't put this into there.
Doing a project with Glenn Mazzio.
Cannot.
Been shadowing him for the last 2
Oh, you talked to him?
Yeah,
How's he doing?
I'm gonna be with him tomorrow.
Did you tell him that we know each other?
Yeah, yeah.
And the zones were added,
I was shadowing him
Since
for a day last week, and then
zone 3
he's coming to visit my project tomorrow. I'm doing a sub-quick
That one?
meeting.
was this, and we added, Thompson made this zone 3. Yeah. And it's full.
I'm sorry, you,
Eugene.
oh, Bill Nico. How you doing?
See ya.
Sunday, the 25th. I'm not sure. Just hold this account. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
What's the matter?
I have a question. I meant to ask.
For the hearing? Stay there, I'll come.
I was on the next one.
No, the chairman's trying to say is that we want, before they come see you, that they go to the zoning. That's all. It's just that simple. That's all we're trying to officially tell the public, that they must go to WPCA, planning zoning, and get written approval. Because they have to have written approval, a copy of a test, document. That's the law. So basically all this hearings are about.
I didn't bring my old stuff.
What do you think? Tell me what you want.
Are these 2 lines on there before?
Yeah,
Oh, you were? Okay. I don't remember reading.
this is the one that I have, I'm really a little bit gray on. So,
Kids say.
been executed.
Well, we'll talk.
Right.
Okay. Well, yeah, the one what we're trying to know is, let's say you had
The sewer line's buried out.
exactly, something like.
Okay, well, you found the manhole with no cover on it or something, I don't know which one.
Yeah. This doesn't have. But let's say the guy was gonna look at this parcel, and now the city would have, should have, with the GIS, if there's an easement.
Do your bike thing?
Yeah, I did it actually this weekend.
Oh,
Perfect day for it. It's a really nice event. Did I forgot my thank you, right? I sent you a thank you.
No.
I can even prove it.
how did it come out? How did it come though?
It comes through closer to free event ride thing. They say I get a donation and I say, send a thank you. So how did you send it to me?
I didn't
It's on
send
your email.
I understand, but I didn't send it the second time it went. I sent it the first one. it went.
Oh, you didn't send it this time?
No.
Oh, it's okay. Send it when you, that's,
I can still send it. I
no,
just,
it's okay.
Mike, I went through everything.
Bill, it's all right. Don't worry about it.
But how would it come through then?
Because when you sign on, you're signing on through your email. You have to look for your email.
Right.
So if it wasn't this year, then you're right. It wouldn't have been on here.
Or earlier this year.
No, I just did it this past weekend.
No, I know, but you didn't do it earlier this year though?
No, I did another day this year. I did a 150-mile ride in June.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, that one was it wasn't a fundraiser. Well, it was a little bit of a fundraiser for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute in Boston, but I didn't have to raise a lot of money for that one. Because it's local, it's not local. This one here
Oh, it was local.
is local. They do such a great job on it, man. I mean, they do an unbelievable job. He had like, I think 2,500 people
Oh, wow.
over the, I think it's 10 years. They've raised something like $25 million over 10 years.
Wow.
They average 2.5 million a year, 2 million a year. They get some people individually that get $15,000, $20,000. The top fundraiser, single fundraiser was like $46,000. Okay, who do you know to get $46,000? I'm gonna make the second announcement, Ash, 420. Would anybody like to participate in the public hearing regarding proper sequencing of the application to connect filed with the Shelton WPCA? Hearing none, Ash, there's nobody in the room. Make the third one at 4:29. And Ash, the only ones on Zoom are Weston and Sampson.
I'm super busy. You can call me every day, but I was here and said somebody had a game up in Glastonbury. You what? So he's done in 2 weeks. Hmm?
Hey, Mr. Ramey. Cool, I still respect it. I love it. I do the same thing. Bring them in. Call me Frank. Oh, I wasn't born yet. Wow. They found problems with parts. And it didn't go, it's good for it. And it died twice on the table. Fingers are funny. Next thing you know, he's getting bypass surgery. It didn't go well. He coated on the table. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah,
Probably-
You couldn't find it.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, Ash, 429. Last call is anybody would like to stand up and talk about the WPCA board's public hearing regarding the proper sequencing of applications to connect the Shelton's WPCA. So that's 429, Ash. Last call. Matt, you want to ask any questions, Matt? Go ahead. Ready? 4:30, this public hearing is officially closed. Thank you. Stand up. You ready for- Stand for pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You got a quorum. You have an official quorum.
Hey guys, Mike's here.
Item number 2, public participation. Hearing none, we'll move on. Approval of the meeting minutes taken during the regular meeting taken August 10th, 2022.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of the meeting from August 10th, 2022.
Second.
Motion by Bill, seconded by Don. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? 4A, application WP 0401 procedure. So we need a vote on it. Does everybody understand what we were at the public hearing for and Does somebody want to make a vote to amend this document as of today's public hearing? There's stronger language in here for making applicants come back if they have not come to if they have not come to the planning and zoning first. Planning and zoning is first and foremost. We should not be taking any applications if they were not first and present us with an approval, an official approval letter from planning and zoning.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the application WP 0401 dated September 2022.
Motion from Eugene. Anyone want a second?
I second the motion.
The only change I want to make is, let's put today's date, September 14th, 2022 on the bottom.
Okay.
So it's clear that it was a public, and it's clear that it was a public hearing issue when we put the 14th on the bottom of this, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you want to put public hearing in parentheses. So probably, yeah. Ern, I don't know if we want to put public hearing on that also, or just the date, September 14th,
Yeah,
approved at the public hearing. Let's do it that way.
yeah, there was the motion that the.
Right.
Public hearing,
Yeah, we're just gonna, so you just need to are you gonna go to Dan and you have to update that just to say here in the bottom, you follow what I'm saying?
Bottom corner.
The bottom corner.
September 22nd.
Yeah, do we want to say that this form is on the bottom here, this is the approved format at the public hearing?
Yes, okay, that's what we
Yeah,
were
that,
referencing.
yeah, exactly.
September 22 document.
Well, no, he wants, I think what Michael's trying to say is that
The verbiage
instead of
goes,
saying September 2022 on the bottom, he wants it to say September 14, 2022, and approved by the public hearing. Correct,
on the bottom of the document.
on the bottom of that.
If you submit it to Dan already,
Yeah.
don't.
It's on the website already. It's like
Uh,
this.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's fine. If it didn't, and you get a chance someday and he's looking for something to do, let's just change that. Motion by Eugene, seconded by Bill. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Budget worksheet. I don't really have any questions. I looked at it pretty closely. But what are you gonna do? It is what it is. When we run over, we put money from our fund. No comment. Right, Garrett? Ed? So out of curiosity, how far, because, no, I answered my question, forget it. Any other questions on the worksheet, budget worksheet? Hearing none, this is gonna be a fast, we're gonna be here, we're gonna have record time, 15 minutes. The superintendent's report, Garrett, Ed? Steve.
Monthly report for the period of August 2022. Very flow is 1.8 million gallons per day. Peak flow was 1.9 million gallons per day. We were in compliance with all our permit limits. We had 85 pounds of nitrogen on average. She trucked out 28 dry tons of sludge to Nautica. All 4 SPRs are online. We had no lost time due to accidents. We now have 44 incident free months. Our safety training was keep and fall protection due to the amount of hoses we have out for cleaning. Our chemical consumables were as normal. We did use 3,056 gallons of sodium hypochlorite for disinfection. Month of September will be our final month of.
Hey, what's the drip rate on that? If you're using 3,000 gallons, what's like the drip rate?
I'll start with a drip rate. We have a set point of a 0.4 milligrams per liter.
But you're putting it into the clarifiers, into
Yeah.
SBRs, huh?
Final clarify.
The final clarifier, right?
Yes.
There's two pros, one in the beginning and one in the end. They have to decide. The one in the end is not reading very high, but more in the beginning. When they start balancing out, get an average. They control the speed. We have no set drip.
Okay. No noise complaints, nice.
No noise complaints. We now have 119 complaints, 3 months. No state issued odor complaints at the pump station or the treatment plant. Now have 49 complaints, 3 months. 5 pump stations. We have 620 pounds of grease, 70 pounds dust. So really last year. Our preventive maintenance was at federal. Corrective maintenance was installing pump number 2 at the Sawmill pump station. And removing pump number 3 for rebuild at the Sawmill pump station.
What are you doing over there at Wells Hollow pump station? By the cutting trees or something? Like,
Yeah, they're clearing,
Today, you mean?
Yeah.
We're,
on not Wells Hollow. Well, yeah, by Wells
They're-
Hollow.
they're Sawmill.
Sawmill, here's Sawmill.
And we did root control over there, okay? Root structure, so
Well, that's not the reason we're there right now. We're there to preserve the building before it gets damaged with the tree limbs that are hanging and
Cutting trees
threatening
off.
the area.
Okay.
Also repaired its stump hose on SPR number 1. All SPRs are currently online or for. Future work to be done on top of the equipment. Hose repair check for the
So the 4 SBRs, there's no more. We cleaned the tanks 2009 and 18. We did the VFDs, that upgrade there, motive pumps. Is there anything else you're looking to do on any one of the SBRs? I know we got that task list. Matt, do you have that task list?
Yeah, I do. That kind of big.
I can't hear you, Matt.
Yeah, I do have the task list. I think, if since Don's there, maybe me and him can talk after and schedule an appointment next week to go down and look at the plant.
Okay. Anything else for Ed or Garrett? Did any of the tasks have anything to do with the SBRs?
Well, one of them is to develop a design to collect the floating scum that escapes the SPR tanks.
We're gonna name that, we're gonna name that rake, the Ed Hellhour rake, the scum rake. Right? Anything else for Ed or Garrett? Any old business? Did you want to say something?
Yeah. All to say.
Floor is yours.
Here, another things.
Okay.
Shooting you all right down there? Don't just push it back too hard. All right, good. And the contract's up. Right? I'm gonna come in and talk. We'll do what we did last time. I can't believe it. It's come and gone. They still haven't resolved it. This is the first. I gotta tell you. First. Yeah. I'm complaining. Come and gone. You know, it's like standing on the street corner. Eventually the parade passes you by. You're still standing there. Anyways, Ernie, where are you on the agenda? You're in the regular meeting now, right?
We're in the regular meeting.
it's just, we're just doing old business and new business, and there's
We're in old business.
we're in old business. There's nothing there.
Well, this is.
You can ask me those questions too, you know.
This is.
I am the chairman of the board and I do run the meeting.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I do, sir. Thank you.
They re-elected you, huh? Wow.
Unfortunate for me, yeah.
Well, you could have
And-
declined, you
and-
know, that was your
and
choice.
Unfortunate for you guys that you did. We're on old business.
So this, I would categorize this as ongoing business.
Well,
Because, there's a lot of things that have transpired over the years that a lot of these new members aren't aware of because they haven't been part of this board. And the same could be said for planning and zoning and inlands and wetlands. And I intend to go to those two boards and address with them the same things I wanted to talk about here. Years ago, we did a study, a citywide study on capacity. Whose phone is that?
it's mine.
Can you turn it off?
It is off.
We did a citywide study on capacity. And the board back then, I think they commissioned the McGuire Group to do it. I can't remember, we're trying to find it. And it designated certain areas in the city, which you're aware of, as sewer shed, non-sewer shed. We also designated estimated capacities for certain areas of the city. Like 15 years ago, there wasn't much activity in downtown, as an example. Well, all that's changed. And we anticipated that way back then when we said, okay, we need to make sure that we have enough capacity for the downtown build out once all the contaminated properties are cleaned up. And then other things along Howe Avenue and Center Street in and around the downtown area. So, that's coming to fruition right now. It was good planning, it was good foresight. We did the same thing for Bridgeport Avenue. We did the same thing for residential areas. And as you may remember this, along with the discussions that you and I and Tom had about some of the areas of town. Like, I know we talked extensively about the capacity in the Pine Rock Park area, what's going to be necessary there. And so, things like that are important to understand. Well, with the resurgence of these apartments all over the place, it's skewing our data and it's throwing a lot of things off, and it's a red flag for me. I think the fact that just because one board approves an application doesn't require this board to approve that application. And I would suggest that you reevaluate some of these apartment complexes and have them do some analysis and how it deviates from what the original zoning was. As an example, there was a site up here on Old Bridgeport Avenue. Well, the old restaurant I used to have, which many of you are familiar with, that location. What was the gallons that were coming into our system then, as opposed to a 30 or 40 unit apartment building? It's a much bigger number, I can assure you. And so when you do that, it's consuming capacity. River Road, they just approved a 100 apartment complex. That's on, what is it, on 4 acres, 5 acres down there? And it was an R1 in the commercial zone. You should make these applicants tell you, okay, if the current zoning was in place and it was a full build out of the property, what would be the estimated usage to our plan as opposed to what you're asking us for? I think it's valuable to know. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make, which you probably got already, is that I don't believe you have any requirement to pass all these projects. In fact, I would urge that you consider not doing that. I'm not saying don't do anything, but again, my focus has been on the downtown for 30 years. And we anticipated this type of growth. So I would be in favor of these applications that are coming in. Some of these other outlying areas, for me, they're a red flag. For me, they're a question mark. Bridgeport Avenue, Constitution, we anticipated that there would be a full build out of Constitution. So we made sure that there was enough gallons available to accommodate our industrial growth, our corporate growth, which is a lot less of a user than these very intense residential uses. And so, when you start shifting gears, these other boards and commissions are not understanding that. And so I intend to go visit them and to say the same things to them that I'm saying to you.
If you recall, 15 years ago, when Avalon tried to build over on Armstrong Road, we, at your request, or at the city's request, I'll be careful how I say that, at the city's request, we were asked not to approve it. We didn't approve it. In a week's time, the WPCA was being sued because, as you are well aware, we cannot deny flow. If we have the capacity of the plant, we have no recourse to deny flow. And every developer and every attorney knows that. And we got sued, and a week later, and then the following meeting, we had to renege it and we had to give them approval. As it turns out, they went over to Bridgeport Avenue anyway. But so we don't have any recourse in that.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I understand what you're saying about that case. They look at, when they get in a situation, they're going to play the affordable housing card. So it's not, just because there's one lawsuit that was generated against WPCA, that may be the one and only one in my time that I can remember, but there have been other boards that have been sued because of that. And so what they do now is they come at you with the affordable housing. So why make it, if you're going to use that, if you're going to employ that thinking, Mike, then why make it easy for them? Why just roll over?
Because we have to employ that. If we have, that's been open. First of all, nobody knows the impact of PDDs more than me. I vote down every single large project that has a PDD. And I do it out of principle for that at least 5 years. So how do you deny them? They know it. They know if there's capacity of the plant, and our sewer shed area tells them there's capacity of the plant, there's a public chart. They know there's capacity. They can take it, they can take it, and they have the right to take it. How do we, I'll tell you what, we will try the next project. We'll deny them, and then we'll see how quick we get sued. I mean,
And so what? Let them sue you.
To me,
Let
that's,
them sue you. Okay?
all it does,
That would be my approach.
all it does is it prolongs it, Mark.
Look, if you have zoning in place that allows X, and you automatically change that, you think that you have to go along with that, and I'm telling you, you don't. All right?
Okay, so 15, 20 years ago, P&Z asked me to put together a master plan for the WPCA based on a population of 35,000 people. I spent 3 months putting this together, and I went and gave it to Tony Panico, and I went in front of the full board.
Is that what's in the sewer shed area?
Yes,
35,000 people?
That's correct. That was the original. Since then, that sewer shed area has changed 20 times. We can't even keep track of it anymore because we have to steal gallons from one sewer shed area and put it in the other sewer shed. And at your request, we held downtown. We did not move downtown.
And
Sewer flows.
if you have a master plan that allocates X amount of gallons for certain purposes in your town, that there's lawsuits going nowhere. This is what I'm trying to tell you. You think you're required to do it? You know what? Let me fight that battle. Okay? Let me fight that battle.
I've sent letters to P&Z. I've spoken about the impact on the plant. I've spoken to people, and nobody understands the impact of I've spoken to the chairman of P&Z. I've spoken to the chairwoman. I spoke to people. Nobody understands the impact that PDD has on us. And as far as I'm concerned, and well, we'll figure out a way.
Well, it depends on what the PDD is. The PDD has served the city pretty well. There's people all over, there's municipalities all over the states that would wish they had done the things that we had done. And a lot of this stuff is worked out in the PDD when we had people who were pretty astute and on top of things. And the corporate areas that are everything on Bridgeport Avenue is a PDD. And so they haven't negatively impacted the WPCA. But when you start throwing these multifamily complexes in, even the assisted living facilities that are 150 units, 350 unit apartment building, that throws the data out of whack. That changes the dynamic. That has an impact on WPCA. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Our public hearing at 4 o'clock was about, you cannot come to us and ask us to connect to the sewage collection system until you have approval from P&Z. So you're asking us to do something. P&Z's first, because we have developers, you probably know who some of them are, are sidestepping it, and Ernie's finally understand what I've been talking about for the past 5 years, is they're sidestepping it. So what they're doing is, they're coming to us first. We're giving them approval for 100 units, let's say. Then they go to P and Z, and P and Z says, okay, it's a PD, right? Yeah, well, I want 125 units. Well, they don't come back to us, and we're having that happen now. So so what's happening now is, and we're finding out that, wait a minute, we only approved you for 100. Now you went to P and Z, so you should be fighting the P and Z battle, not us, because you should be stopping and slowing down P and Z with the PDDs and not us.
So.
That's my whole theory about it.
So, okay, that's one theory, but you have a recourse.
What's our recourse?
Your recourse is he doesn't issue a permit. That's the recourse.
The
You-
mayor's
you-
trying to
you
say
can't-
we act as a team.
I
collectively.
understand what
you
you're saying, but
can't-
that's a separate issue. I'm just talking about the thinking of WPCA and staying the course on the study that we did years ago, or even getting the study upgraded so that it reflects the current thinking of the time.
Well, you're speaking to the choir, because I've been arguing this for 5 years, and every single time I vote against them for this exact same thing. And now it's all of a sudden it's coming around, which I'm glad it is. I'm glad it's finally coming around, but what are you going to do? Are you going to stop the train now?
Mike, look, you as the chairman can introduce anything to this board at any time you want. If you wanted to upgrade this long-range plan, you could do it. No one's stopping you, unless you take a vote and your members say no. So I'm not sure I understand what your point is.
Well, that's a good point, and that's maybe something we should do. But my point is,
I think you should do it.
at the request of P and Z, I was asked to put together a plan, and I put together a plan. Now, that was 15 years ago, so rightfully so, good point. We ought to update the plan.
And so part
But
of.
it still goes back to P and Z. It doesn't come to us.
Part of the problem that we have is that we have all new players in the equation. And now we're starting to get new staff people in the equation who don't understand the history of how everything's evolved. And so, I have spent a lot more time in the last 2 or 3 years with people like Ernie and up in planning and zoning, all the new people who don't understand or who don't have this history. So that's the other reason why I'm here today. So, when you tell me you can't do something, I'm not sure that I agree with you on it.
Well,
And
then
that
do-
we
okay,
need to
then-
start taking a different tack.
Okay, so good. I'm 100% for that. But do me a favor. Include me in emails, texts, phone calls, meetings, and everything else that I have to hear from the outside. Oh, you met with the mayor. Oh, you had an email sent from the mayor. Oh, what do you think that puts me? Where do you think that puts me?
I don't send any emails.
Yes, you know what? You don't even answer phones, so you're right. You don't do
That's
emails,
not true.
but you probably have
Mike,
Cindy do it.
Mike, that's a bold-faced lie.
No,
I
it's not.
answer my phone
Okay.
all the time.
I'm just
and I
telling you.
return- Mike,
I'm
if
just
you
telling
want to argue with me,
Just,
I'm gonna oblige
I'm
you,
asking,
okay?
I'm
I'm
asking.
telling you, don't tell me I don't return phone calls, because I do, and I take exception to that. And I don't send emails, I never have in 30 years. So whatever you're talking about, in my mind, is gibberish.
Yeah, okay, it's
So
gibberish.
collectively, we're gonna work as a team.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Well, you speak for yourself, you don't speak for this board, you're one vote, you're one person.
I'm not, no,
If you
I'm
want to
not.
come in and beat your chest, go right
I'm
ahead.
not beating
You're
my
gonna be
chest.
doing it by yourself.
You know something? I'm not gonna be doing it myself. See you later. You can do it by yourself
Okay,
without me.
Mike, see you later.
See you later, Mark.
You made your point.
Yeah, I made my point. Sure I did. I call you. to
Mike, you made
I
your point, you're
I call
done. Just
you-
get out of
I
here.
call you and say, I'm texting you, said, who's this? Who's this? Who's this? You don't have my phone number in your phone? Nope, you don't have my phone number in your phone. You don't even know who I was texting you. I had a developer wanted to come move into Shelton, and I'm asking you and sending texts, and you said, who's this? When I called you, who's this?
I responded though, didn't I?
So Mayor, we're gonna work collectively between the boards as a unified source, P and Z, the WPCA, and any other.
Bernard, you have to do that at the staff level. You have to walk right across the hallway to go into P and Z
Okay,
and talk to P and Z and talk to wetlands and
okay,
talk to engineering.
okay.
You have to understand what's on everybody's agenda
We,
and then report back to the board. That's just how it's supposed to work. You can't expect board members to be doing this.
no, they don't. We make them aware of what's going down the pipe, but I just want to ask you, it sounded like you want to do a collective thing between the departments, as you were mentioning, collectively.
No, I said, I am gonna go meet with these different boards and commissions
Right,
and say the same things to them that I'm saying here today.
right. So we'll be a unified bunch of boards, or a unified bunch of people that are looking for the same, striving for the same goal.
Hey, Ernie and the rest of the board, it's Mike. So let's just listen to the conversation. It sounds like there's maybe some opportunities for us to look into some things. So let's just take that, back and kind of circle back and maybe just discuss some of the things that were discussed just a few minutes ago, and just move on those forward.
So I think, Ernie, we have to try to find out where that long-range study report was done
Yeah, we're gonna find it.
on the sewer shit. And what we did, and just get it upgraded.
Yeah,
Just hire someone to upgrade it.
yeah, we'll do that. We'll find it. We'll find it. Is there anything else that you wanted to present?
No, I made my points.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions for me?
No. Bill? You have to.
All right, you guys can move on with your agenda.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Good to see you.
I just, yeah.
So you're on new business, Bill?
Yeah.
Behave yourself when I'm going, all right?
Take care.
Item number 6, new business. We have a bill before us from Weston and Sampson for $10,840.21. Any discussion on the bill?
Make a motion, we pay the invoice for Weston and Sampson. For, I can't see it, $1,008,
No,
$10,841, $40.41.
can't see it, $10,840.21. Thank you.
I second it. Paying the
all in
invoice.
favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Item number 7, financial statement.
Is that for the special sewer assessment?
Well, that's the sinking, this is the sinking fund balance in the sewer special assessments.
Yeah, okay.
Any questions on any expenditures, revenue? We don't vote to approve this.
No.
Submit, right? It's only for
It's just for
informational purposes.
Informational purposes.
Item number 8, adjournment. I'll make a motion, anyone to make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
You know,